Hello and happy Friday. This is Unit 2, Lesson 20 for our Illustrative Math program. And today our lesson goal was, let's represent and compare numbers. So we're going to start with our warm-up. It says Lynn picked 8 flowers from the garden. Tyler collected 6 flowers from the garden. Did Lynn or Tyler collect more flowers? How can you act out this story? So our class discussed different ways that we might be able to show this story of Lynn picking 8 flowers and Tyler picking 6 flowers. And we decided that one way that we could do that was to actually physically act it out, pretend we had something that looked like flowers. We were talking about the straws and having one person pick 8 and having one person to pick 6 and see who had more. We talked about just looking at the numbers 8 and 6 and just knowing that 8 is bigger than 6 because that's just something we know. We talked about making a picture to show our 8 and our 6 to show which one had more. We talked also about using manipulatives to show. So you might have like 6 cubes on one side and 8 counters on the other, so you could tell who had more. So those are some of the things that we discussed today. And as part of that, one of the things that it asked us was, what would be the best way for us as a class to show this problem? So we decided that a picture would be the best way. So we have Tyler's flowers here, and we have Lynn's flowers over here, and there are 8 flowers here and 6 flowers here, and you can see that there are more flowers over here. It looks more full over here. We also talked about how our understanding of just the numbers 8 and 6 would let us know that 8 is bigger than 6, and therefore Lynn picked more flowers. So those were some of the conversations we had today. Our next activity was a kind of a group activity, and it really requires you to have somebody to work with. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to give you the work from yesterday, which will also, that really connects well with what we did today. Okay, so what I'm going to have you do is you're going to get into your math workbook. So let me just grab mine. And here's my math workbook. And we started on page 125. So a 1, a 2, and a 5. And the page looks like this. Okay. And we worked on the first problem together. So it says, which has more? So what our job was in the book was to count the objects, to write the number underneath, the number of objects underneath, and then circle the one that was bigger. So we did this first one together. So we have on this side 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm going to write a number 8 right down here. And I don't have a sharpened pencil. Let me just do that really quick. People borrowed a lot of my pencils today, so I ended up with no pencils. Okay, well, let's use colored pencil because that'll work just as well for this. Okay, so I would write the number 8 here. I'm going to write it really lightly because I don't want to ruin this empty book. Okay, then we counted the moods. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we wrote the number 6 underneath here. Now, we talked about if you're not sure what your numbers look like, you could use this yellow reference card that I sent home with you. This will help you figure out what number is what and what it looks like when you write it. Okay, and then we had to circle the one that was bigger. Okay, and again, I'm doing this really, really lightly, so hopefully you can see it. So then we're going to go down to the next one. You're going to count the items, then you're going to write the number, then you're going to count the items on this side and write the number, and circle the one that has which picture has more. And that's the one you're going to circle. There's only 3 problems for this. There's this one here, this one down here, and then there's one more on this page. Okay? The next activity that I'm going to have you do is, the next activity we're going to do is a new stage of the game, Less, Same, More. We've played this game a few times. You're going to need your Less, Same, More game board, and you're also going to need a deck of cards, and I think yours are kind of a purpley blue color. Okay, so you are going to start by, this is going to be a little tricky for me to show you, but what we're going to do is you are going to place each card in the appropriate box on the bottom of the map. But first you have to have a number to compare it to. So the first thing you're going to do is take your cards, get them shuffled up pretty good here. Not super good, but you know, as well as we can do. And then you're going to put them face down so that you can see the backs of the cards, not the fronts. So you can't see the number. And you're going to flip a card. And my card says number 8. So that's my comparing card. So that's going to go right here in this very, very top box. Okay. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip another card. And my card this time is 10. So I need to decide, is 10 less than 8? Is 10 the same amount as 8? Or is 10 more than 8? And then I've got to decide which column does it belong in. So is 10 smaller than 8? No, 10 is not smaller than 8. Is 10 the same as 8? No, because it's 10 and not 8. Therefore, they can't be the same number. Is 10 bigger than 8? Yes, it is. So we're going to put 10 here, and then I'm going to say 10 is bigger than 8. Okay. Then you're going to leave that card there. I can't do that because I don't have quite enough hands to be able to hold it all up. Then what you're going to do is pick another card. And this time my card is 7. So I'm going to think about the same thing. I'm going to decide if 7 is less, the same, or more than 8. So 7 and 8, when we think about those two numbers, 7 is smaller than 8, so less than 8. So we're going to put it in this first column right here. Then we're going to say 7 is smaller than 8 or less than 8. Okay? So that's how you play this game, and you're going to go through all your cards and place them in the proper places, and that will be your game for today. Okay. Other than that, we also today spent some time making number representations, and what that was is we had just a piece of paper, and we picked a number between 1 and 10, so any of these numbers here, you can pick any one you would like, and then we made group pictures of what that would look like. So let's say I picked the number 3. Sorry about that. So one way to represent the number 3 would be to actually write the number. So that's one way of showing the number 3. Another way would be to use tally marks. So there's a second way to show the number 3. I could also show the number 3 by making stars. So I could make a group of 3 stars. Okay. I could also make a picture of 3 flowers. And then, so we tried to fill our paper with as many different ways to show the number 3 as we possibly could. We could also use manipulatives on our sheet, so they didn't have to always be pictures. Like I could decide that I can show the number 3 by using some of my pattern blocks. So what I might do there is on my sheet, I might lay 3 triangles on my sheet to show the 3 that 3 can be made like this as well. Okay, I might put 3 cubes on here. But somehow or another, you want to fill in all of this space to show all the different ways that you know how to make your number. And like I said, you can pick any number between 1 and 10. Everyone got to pick a number today. The next part would be that we did as a group was we took our posters and we looked at more than one poster at a time and decided which poster had the bigger number on it and how did we know. That would be a little trickier for you because there's only you and there's no other pictures for you to compare to. But you could, however, use your sheet and then you could use your cards. Okay, and then you could just say, okay, this is the number 8, and I have 3 on my board. So which one is the bigger number? Well, I know that 8 is bigger than 3. Okay, so you could do that sort of comparing too. And that would be a great activity for you to do. Okay. Let's see, what else did we do in math today? So for our center choice time for math today, you had 3 different choices. You could play the less, more, same game that I just showed you a little while ago here. You could play number race, which is where you throw the cube on the card with the numbers, and then you write the number in the correct column that your cube lands on. Or you could play cover up. And with cover up, what you were doing is you're using these cards, flipping a card, and then finding all the pictures that match that card on your cover up board and covering those with your counters. Okay, so those are sort of some of the activities that you can choose from to do today. Any of them would be wonderful for you to do. If you want to send me a picture of your representation picture, that would be wonderful, but you definitely don't have to. Hopefully this will go well for you as well. I think this game is really, I think now that we spent a lot more time on less, more, and same, that you'll be much more successful at this than we were when we first tried it. So I hope that you had a wonderful day, and thanks for listening to me. Talk to you later. Bye.